Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Griffin have returned the favor here against MVP. Shut them out of the game almost completely. Only thing they were able to get was a single Cloud Drake to stop it from being a perfect game. Otherwise, good God, what a slaughter. All starting with that Talon in the mid.
And you know what? We're in Korea, so usually it's the ruthless execution of macro. This was straight style and pizzazz coming through from the side of Griffin, the panache, the aggression. It was a treat to watch. 27 minutes, they rolled through them. Would have considered a surrender if you were MVP. Felt like a solo queue game that you feel really bad about. We've all been there. Too easy for Griffin, and what it means for the next draft is so interesting. They choose red side once again. They've been staunchly looking for those late game team fights. They didn't do it this time, and it certainly seemed to work out.
Yeah, it was great from the side of Griffin. Now we're going to be looking to do it again here in game number 3. MVP, though, going to be back over onto the blue side. Maybe finding their groove there with the first pick rather than the last. It's red, it just, it didn't go so well.
The adjustments on both sides. A best of 3 between MVP and Griffin. Get going here. Who will be the first team to qualify for LCK Summer 2018 from the 4 hopefuls? Everate is gone. Now a best of 3 between MVP and Griffin, and the Vladimir ban sticks from the side of MVP.
Yep, still going to be seeing Rakana as well. Banned away by Griffin yet again. Has been their first ban in all 3 games thus far.
Do they feel like they can play against a Swain? Because Swain has been banned on the red side by MVP in game number 2. It's left open in game number 1, and their first plan of Cassiopeia wasn't working out, but maybe they feel like they can adjust one variable and pick up the victory. That was 2 losing lanes for them in the end.
I could try to go for something else, but MVP still denying some of those Rome champions here with the Talia banned again. Alistar was the 3rd ban in the first round for MVP. Do they leave it up for Griffin?
It's the most droppable ban on
I think
paper.
you probably do it.
However, it is Lahen's most played as well, and we know he has already performed in the biggest way on this stage a couple of days ago. So, of course, we look at it and say, excellent. And more of a chance Lahen's can jump on his Hextech Flash Traption Alistar, and something had to give for the Swain ban to come in. More stuff is open. There was a Ryze ban red side, but Ryze has been so low priority recently, even though power level wise, with the change on 8.6, he's doing very, very well. And you should remember that Zach has been on the winning side both games. This time it's going to be first picked by MVP.
Yeah, table's turning a little bit here. MVP feeling the need to take this rather than the Sejuani for Beyond. Could just open that one up for Tarzan yet again, but seems like Griffin just going to lock down what is now becoming a staple bot lane with the Kai'Sa Morgana.
Caitlyn was been the choice a couple of times into Kai'Sa. You can outrange with the Jhin as well.
Kramer's watching this from home and he's like, Pilot, no!
And they're going to go full lane Achilles. This is a kill lane. It's going to be Jhin Vel'Koz.
Now I kind of approve
This
of it.
is sick. All right, we are completely going kill lane on the Morgana Kai'Sa. Double outrange. Huge damage easily. The Vel'Koz bursts through the black shield and the Jhin does the rest. And you see Squishy, you respond with Squishy. Apparently, is Tarzan going to go hunting? First thought was yes. Second thought is no. He jumps on the Sejuani.
It's taking it back to standard here for Tarzan as we get ready to go through the second phase of bans.
Fun thing is, you can drop an Azir ban if you're MVP. You don't need to ban it because you could always flex the Vel'Koz into mid lane. Take the lane that Crown and other mid laners have preferred into Azir. And look at this, Griffin actually forced to ban the Azir because they're like, wait, we don't necessarily have a pocket pick ready for that. We ban it away. This draft phase, this series in general has been so interesting in picks and bans. It continues in game number 3. Let's see how Griffin deals with the Gangplank issue, because that was one they didn't really have the best answer for. If you ban GP, you can just blind the Gnar and feel better about it if you're Griffin.
Well, Gnar would be pretty standard for Sword. Already saw it from him in game number 1. Wasn't banned in 2, but they went for the Camille into the GP.
Just going to ban away the Ryze. See what the approach is here from MVP. No, their enemy team is looking for top lane and mid lane solo lanes to be selected in. Oh boy, that one, without context, a difficult one to explain. But if you saw game 2, you're still feeling the effects of the Talon. So Talon will be banned away. Doesn't mean Karma mid lane a possibility for MVP. That was what was taken into it last time out. Don't normally think about the synergy between a Ardent Sensor mid laner and a Jhin. But speaking of Ardent Sensor mid laners, it's going to be from Griffin, actually. Another shield to load onto Viper, and if he gets through the laning phase, he's ready to go.
Yeah, he can start popping off there. So we'll just be that Karma. Okay, yeah, Zoe's going to be locked into the mid lane here for Ian.
Very squishy enemy team. You know, we knew this was going to be a low tank game. Continues to be so, and I mentioned the Gangplank already. It's been blind picked 2 games in a row now as the Gangplank will be taken. How will Sword react to the top lane this time? He doesn't have the Camille anymore. The Gnar would be his standard, but they struggled to make that matchup work. It was all about timings. They missed them in game number 1, but it is by far his most played in the 2018 season. He can pick for lane. He has before. Camille removed. Where do we go? We're going super for lane.
Oh, baby. All right.
We're
Lucian coming through for Sword in the top lane. We got a Jhin Vel'Koz on the other side. I'm loving this series, Papa.
We got 3 supports and 2 AD carries, and we going. The Sejuani going to be a support in this game. Might even be over to the Zeke's Convergence. Not normally do you team fight with the Lucian top lane comps, but you can consider it with all the shielding they have. I mentioned attacking lane, and oh boy, are they going for it.
You say 3 supports. I see 4 mid laners in this draft coming through, depending on how you like your Morgana. But, yeah, wow, okay. We just keep getting more and more surprises coming through. Spirit of Hooting is resting in Griffin.
And the best part about all of this is this pick ban has basically been rock, paper, scissors at every moment where it is, what is the counter pick? What is the counter pick? They just keep loading up Mobifier and working out where they're going with some of these champion.gg, whichever website you go to. The Lucian beats the Gangplank. We know about the matchup, a Huni favorite with the Lucian. Really interesting. So we can just go through it and say who has priority. Definitely Lucian in the 1v1. However, priority didn't matter in game 2 until the ganks came in, and Beyond has picked up the Zac. That has been pivotal so far in this series. 100% win rate on the Zac. We move into mid lane, and this is a good lane for Zoe. Karma can push, Karma does well in the early game, but when Zoe gets rolling with a gank, you can do well. In the bot lane, they've picked exclusively for lane. Jhin Vel'Koz is designed to go through the Black Shield and then go through a squishy health bar. So much fire on the Rift.
All right, the Vel'Koz follow-up there, making me a bit more of a believer here for the side of MVP in that bot lane, but Griffin do not want to back down. Strictly for lane in the top lane, strictly to kill in the bottom side for MVP. Let's see who takes the lead in this series as we jump into game number 3.
미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
And here we go. Plenty to cheer for in this series, in this game.
You know what is guaranteed about this game, Achilleos?
Kills.
We're not going 60 minutes in this game. This is another short game. This is very much going to be another game where one team will roll over the other, but in style fashion, hopefully, like game number 2.
I mean, this could be a 90-minute one. You get the Hurricane on the Kai'Sa. You get whoa.
No, Lucian's going Scorch. We're not going 90 minutes in this game. We are definitely.
I was gonna say Hurricane plus the Calling. You'd have plenty of wave clear to hold off, but no, we're pedal to the metal, it would seem.
Really, really fun stuff here, and I love these sort of games. You don't see them often in Korea, where you usually see someone eventually saying, okay, well, I have to take this for team comp. We can't just go for another winning lane. They've been taking turns. Here's where we end up, is we're getting creative in bot side.
Okay.
They're actually taking the blue buff, and they're going double blue buff here. So late invade top side into Viper picking up the blue buff for bot lane. No longer does it give level 2. We all remember Genja on the Urgot many, many years ago.
Yeah.
Going for that strategy, that's 2011, 2012 stories right there. But Viper will have blue buff. However, the lane is still a disaster. It is still Jhin and Vel'Koz, a terror lane to try to get through. Again, to explain it, it's Cleanse, Comet, Vel'Koz. This is not Unsealed Spellbook. He's just straight up going Cleanse. Because basically, you get hit by a binding, you can always flash Cleanse away, and then you all in instantly through the Black Shield and just kill whoever is squishy.
I mean, we got that going on in the bottom lane. We've got the GP going to be oppressed by the Lucian right now. Short hop coming through, flash away from Tarzan, but flash follow from Beyond as Ian roams in from the side. Battlestar going to be blocked
ADD.
by that Scuttle Crab in the end. Flash over. ADD with the fancy barrel mechanics. Picks up first blood.
Tarzan got too greedy, going for extra cams. He could have taken the blue and backed away, but wanted extra experience because he assumed that Beyond would just go for the trade. Beyond went to his top side, a bit tone deaf to what had happened bot lane. The usual reaction when you see an enemy blue buff laner is to make that play, actually, to go top side, because you know instantly, well, he took blue, and the enemy has blue. The Lucian came from my blue buff. He's probably going to go for a full clear. You're not going to go and check the enemy blue and be surprised it's not there. So this was too greedy from Tarzan. Might work in solo queue, doesn't work here. And now there's another laning blue buff. There's 2 laning blue buffs in 3 minutes.
Yep, man, already you can see Viper taking quite a bit of damage there as the root comes down from the Deadly Flourish. What I was going to say before we had the collapse was, with the Lucian in the top lane, this kill lane in the bottom side, we get to play my favorite game show, which is who will feed the least.
That sounds like a boring game.
It's entirely random. No, there's no skill involved, really. Actually, it's all skill. But
we want
ADD
outplays.
with that first blood could make this pretty painful for Sword.
And we have seen Gangplanks win this matchup. If you get enough gold, it's pretty simple. You just get sick items before the Lucian can bust through you, and you try and make it work. Now, ADD again is, you know, showing his fears by going into the Kleptomancy against Lucian, which, I would imagine everybody else would be going for Resolve Tree into the obvious Grasp of the Undying to try to die less, the approach many Gangplanks against Vladimir. Instead, he says, I see you, Lucian, and I'm going to take Kleptomancy anyway.
Well, Tarzan back over towards this top side of the map. Not going to be spotted
No
out
flash
yet.
on ADD. He's not going to use an orange for sustain either.
No flash on Tarzan either. Needs to get the gap closed. Sword dashing forward. Dodges out there on the flail, but ADD still taking so much damage. I think he dived this one out. He'll get locked up. Orange cleanses it off, and he manages to walk out alive.
Nicely done by ADD. Doesn't go for anything fancy. The early sidestep looked like it was going to condemn him. There wasn't going to be enough damage if the orange was late.
Oh. It's going to be the redemption coming through from Ian, because he has that at 5 minutes into the game.
I love how the interaction there was the trouble bubble to amp the damage of the redemption. Okay. Okay. Cool champion.
Why not?
At least he doesn't get teleport anymore. That was the one that was too troll.
Yeah, that was a bad time.
From ahead, the Zoe is going to find so many easy targets to Battlestar to death. Black Shield might be able to answer some of the damage, but certainly they have so many, obscenely many ways to get through. And again, I mentioned this last time we had the Morgana in one of the promotion matches a couple of days ago. Sword actually doesn't have the range to interrupt that.
The W might have been able to get it with just the tip.
But the point I wanted to bring up is that we've had Morgana support metas before, and it was always about, well, if the enemy team doesn't have multiple magic damage dealers, you're probably getting maximum value of the CC reduction. The Vel'Koz alone, his job is to burst through Black Shield. The Gangplank ultimate will burst through it. There's so much magic damage. First, good news story for Griffin. They do get the flash in bot lane. That, yeah, this Black Shield, just try and see if you ever see a max duration Black Shield in a team fight. I don't think it will happen.
Probably not, but good pressure being applied to the bottom side, so Pilot now going to be a bit more vulnerable. So if those Dark Bindings do connect, you can try to turn things around. Get that counter burst going through in onto the Jhin. Tarzan just going to be taking a stroll across the mid lane, spotted out by the ward.
Notice
going to be hovering around top.
Want to mention the build from Viper. He'll be rushing Death Stance this game. The reason is that if you all in a Jhin, he struggles at short range. It's all about the setup and then getting the Deadly Flourish off. So if you all in and have Death Stance to disregard damage, I think at one item there's nothing Jhin can do. He will just die if he's actually hit by hard CC or by the Void Seeker. So that's the theory there. It gives you a lot of all-in options if you go the Death Stance versus Jhin.
I mean, you know exactly where he's going to be. As soon as you see that curtain call come through, and the Void Seeker can connect with him, so could make it a very easy target. Just lock onto with the Killer Instinct. Get up close and personal, as you're saying, and take him down.
Doesn't have as much hard CC. The Sejuani and the Morgana, the only ones that can actually be facilitators this time. It's not the humps that Prey was running around, where everyone had hard crowd control.
Or the tether from Karma.
Very situational, but I take your point.
It's got some light setup to it.
Actually, with the Death Stance, it's probably going to be Qmax first. We see a lot more Emax recently, but Qmax first also probably have pushing advantage on the Jhin as well. So I do like varying up the builds, and again, my kind of excitement with Kai'Sa is how flexible she is on build path in a role of champion where you kind of always know a complete build item for item before the game even starts.
Sword getting quite a bit of damage in onto the turret. You can see even with the first blood coming through. Kleptomancy going to help drag some back, but pretty significant lead coming in. 24 CS up over ADD. So Sword at least going to be relatively unhindered getting his own build off the ground. Trouble bubble connecting, looking for the paddle star.
They're going to start hurting.
Yep, knocks it down just about the half. What a fun champion.
Yeah, fun and interactive, both Karma and also her opponent is
coming through.
Not going to work out this time.
Yep. There you go. It didn't last. You were right. But
I don't know if we call that a team fight, but sure. This was the max special, and again, worked last time. Could definitely work here.
It won't last in a 3v3. That definitely won't last in a team fight.
It's fair. I see Viper prancing everywhere with his 2 shields and big tank.
Oh, they're looking for it again. They're going to jump in. That's going to be disintegration rate coming through. Hands. One more hit would do it. Curtain call. Going to come down. Heal popped as well. Just trying to bend the bullet around. Tarzan and Viper won't be able to do so.
Ian's here as well.
Alive. Yeah, Ian jumping forward. They're going to try to turn this one around. Cleanse comes down, but he's still going to get locked up, and he's going to get taken out. Tarzan finds the killing blow. MVP a bit too aggressive in the bottom side.
These fights from Even are where Griffin excel. This is where they're strong. Very nice execution. Knew exactly when to turn. Ian thought he'd be fine. He's the slippery one. He's the Zoe. He's not. That is an answering kill to the side of Griffin.
I repeat, what a fun champion. It goes both ways. But they look for the setup. Go in on the Vipers. 2 different targets here.
Lahen's, though, completely trivialized by the enemy support. Out of the fight instantly. They could have just taken the zone away, get some turret damage in, feel good about it. But instead, first the binding into Ian, turning to the spot with the paddle jump. And then from there, the portal jump, I should say. And from there, just taken down. So very nice execution. And you don't always take your invitation when you're against Zoe because she's so slippery. They took it. Well done. That does arrest any sort of gold injection to the side of MVP.
That's the other thing, though. You know exactly where she's going to go with that portal jump. Has to go back no matter what. So, easy target for Tarzan to line up the Glacial Prison. And they just take her down. So, Ian giving a kill back over. Dead even at the moment.
Which is a new game state. We've had a big lead for MVP into a bigger lead for Griffin, and now a 10 minutes that is a lot more up in the air.
70-minute game. Here we go.
Still a gold lead for ADD with 28 CS down. I wince a little bit looking at that. What to say? It's a Gangplank thing. I heard crypto's going back up, so I guess Gangplank is somehow related to that.
Hooray. If you wanted to buy a graphics card, I suggest doing it right now.
A new one's coming soon? Is it time for the new ones yet?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I was watching a video that it was the Unreal Engine, and they were doing real-time rendering on a fully reflective surfaces, and they did a nice little Star Wars video about it. And they had, what's her name, Phasma?
Oh, I heard about this. This like huge.
And it's just reflecting everything around her, and it renders it in real time rather than pre-render. Insane, but the rig that they ran it on was about $50,000. I would be interested in one of those GPUs, but it would cost me quite a bit.
I think Tarzan's interested in a cloud jug. It might cost him his life to smite it.
Trouble bubble comes through. Smite's going to be there from beyond. Tarzan dashing forward.
We're fighting again.
Throws it out, finds Max, but he's going to go ahead and cleanse that off. Keeps himself safe.
Lands flash. That's what it's used for. They'll get away from all of this. AD didn't even have to invest his ultimate, so if they come for any sort of lane gank, won't necessarily be there. And Play the Rune King rush comes through from the Lucian. Continuous trend of just trying to beat down the Gangplank in the 1v1.
Well, Pilot and Max now having to sit back underneath the turret. Just clear things out with that deadly flourish. Ian just offering a helping hand. It's like, well, it's not a cannon barrage, but I can top you back up.
With no teleports, that's among the best pickup as well, the redemption
really
to just be a jerk. I'm again triggered by remembering the LPL clip where MLXG died to a redemption.
Faker died to a redemption.
Yeah, but this was worse. This is like level 3, a redemption killed him at Wolves. It was just the worst. Absolute worst.
Somehow, I didn't see that clip, and I'm not sure if I'm better or worse for it.
You know, it reminds you of forgotten times where Zoe was significantly stronger than she is now. She's back, but not back with the same sort of power budget that she was before. Coming back to power budgets, when it comes to graphic cards, I'm kind of at that stage where it's time to buy one. I kind of get that way every 3 years, but my problem is I'm just going to have the most overpowered rig to only play League of Legends. So I don't know if perhaps, you know, I'm kind of one of those guys like, I must have it, but I will not be wielding it very smartly.
If they ever overhaul this game engine, I'm going to be able to run it perfectly.
700 frames per second, let's go.
Oh, short hop over the wall, looking for Viper, not going to find the stretching strike, goes in, tries to get the kidnap with the flash, but will not do it. Beyond's just got some egg on his face after that one. Again, a barrage, meanwhile, in the top lane, trying to clear out the wave, deny this turret take.
This was survived on the last take, and now we're going to have a race.
Well,
and it seems
Sword
like,
takes a lot of turret shots.
and it means that Griffin are probably going to lose the race for this first turret.
Locked down into the pop-up, Black Shield comes through, Disintegration Ray coming in. Viper going to have to body block all the hits. Will be able to do so quite easily. The damage from the Jhin not going to be that significant here at the moment.
But the race will continue, Achilles. Let's see how this one goes. Both turrets pretty low. 3 people here. You imagine MVP's going to win it.
Seems like they should just about have it. They take it in the end. It's been taken. Griffin taking their time on that one. But they will go ahead, equalize the turret count, and there's still not a gold lead.
Tarzan is still here. Now we know that ADD has his stuff up. Comes to his W and his flash, so nothing further going to happen in the top side. Bit of chip damage on the top. So much trading going on because both teams know where they're strong and aren't interested in retreating to where they're weak. When you lock in Lucian and the rest of the stuff going on here, no one's retreating a kill. It's going one way only.
Yep. One-way street.
All the way to Pain Town.
All the way to the board.
Well, yeah. The gray screen.
There's going to be a lot of kills in this.
We say that, and sometimes
we hope. We really hope and expect, but, you know.
Sometimes it goes full opposite day, and in fact, it's the thinking man's game with no kills.
Yeah.
Ian will hop, skip his way to top side. No teleport, just a cleanse. We're going to push up a wave. His gangplank duty is apparently bot side. He's going to be in the long lane. We'll be short if the enemy pushes it in, but a lot of lane assignment things happening at the same time. We'll wait and see them all shake out before we pass too much judgment.
Oh, man. I glanced at my laptop for a second. Somebody literally just sent me the clip of MLXG dying to Redemption.
Well, that's something to look forward to. A bit of bedtime reading later.
I don't know. That might give me nightmares.
That's true. Maybe actually just a morning thing.
I need to watch that in the daytime when it's still sun out.
You know, usually it's an MLXD moment when he's dying, but that one was just not that at all. Just sad times.
And the elastic slingshot getting charged up, but not going to find a point of entry. Cancel that one out. Another Cloud Drake, perhaps, for MVP, coming up in just under 2 minutes.
You want to know? The Relic Shield was very early from Beyond, much later for Tarzan. I imagine the wards and the quest will come in a bit earlier for Beyond this time. We can see he's about halfway, 220 gold towards the 500, and would need the Targon's Brace upgrade as well. In the mid lane, they're pushing. We already mentioned that Black Shield gets almost no value purely against the Vel'Koz. We'll see if they can push around this priority. Karma can join. A bit faster to move, but no teleports on the mid laners.
See, Lehen's actually taking quite a bit of damage there, even just from the Vel'Koz, who doesn't have that much AP backing him up. Amptome coming through. Ian's got another redemption.
Things off the screen to respect that redemption that you mentioned, the Gangplank ultimate as well. Could be double circle action coming through from MVP.
So many circles, we could make a diagram.
Vel'Koz could do the most damage, as he always does. His mid lane.
Get jumped on, Beyond comes back. Going to offer some protection. Glacial Prison not going to find the lockdown as Max has that cleanse ready to go.
They are really good at putting it on cooldown, though.
That's true.
Second time in a row.
Just deny it away. Still has the flash, though.
Massive value out of that summoner, and as we mentioned, no unsealed spellbook, just purely taking it for scenarios like that as a ranged support who can be DPS down instantly if you get hit by a Dark Binding. Long charge up by Beyond, but it's going to be a bit of ARAM action, as we can see.
He's in vision as well, that ward, I believe, catching him. Maybe he was just around the corner, but it's always hard to tell with those angles.
Turret's still pretty high health, so this play is not going to lead to a turret, even though MVP to launch a bit more poke.
Yeah, there's no Rift Herald here to try to back up a siege. Tarzan just hovering nearby, waiting for that ult to come off cooldown. It's about halfway there.
And everyone's waiting for the Cloud Drake. Now just spawning. Vision control in the river is the side of MVP. They also have insane poking.
Oh.
There's also hard commit.
Beyond's going in pretty deep, but he's going to miss that stretching strike. Has to get out of there, but he's going to get popped before he can use the kidnap. Going to go low. TP has to be burned out by ADD to try to keep him alive, and even then, still might not happen. Disintegration Ray in onto Tarzan will chunk him down to half HP. Beyond makes it out with his life, but barely so, and now ADD. He is going to be stuck down here. Calling coming through. Knocked down below half HP. Sword, how frisky are you feeling?
Not risky enough to dive just yet. Griffin can push forward. Remember, a lot was used. The "you shall not pass" use of the disintegration ray from Max means it's down. A lot of those ults are down. This should actually be the ability for Griffin to walk up to the Cloud Drake.
Be looking for it. ADD still has the barrage. Can cause some disruption and chaos around this dragon pit. There's a ward, and they see exactly how low this is. It's going to go dangerously down. Spike comes through. Tarzan finds that one as a curtain call. Is looking to lock someone down, but only finds one shot onto Sword, and everybody from Griffin will exit with their lives.
Now try and make a play into mid lane, but Viper has enough mana to use his Q, so not going to be able to instant shove this one. Tarzan isn't going to intimidate them, though, with a very low health bar.
Keep shorting these sleepy trouble bubbles. Zone him back with the redemption.
Being used for now. Redemption after redemption. A redemption story is what MVP are trying to put on today by making it a first chance, apologizing to their fans in the most emphatic way by qualifying at first opportunity back to the LCK. You would say both these teams come in big favorites against Konglu Monster on Sunday, and the losing team will have to beat them in a best of 5. But again, as you mentioned, a proud team of MVP. You were talking about their lean times as we went into game number 3. Remember, this team last year represented the LCK at Rift Rivals, so they were coming off a 4th placed finish in LCK Spring 2018. 1 year later, being in the relegation tournament is a precipitous fall, and they do need to stick by the fans who have been so loyal. Every time we come, there is a super vocal contingent of MVP fans on what they were looking for from their season, but all they can ask for is for them to qualify today.
I think Griffin's kind of actually reminding me of the MVP that we saw when they were able to qualify into 2016 summer. Very aggressive. They were a bit unique. They had some odd picks coming through, as we saw in game 2 there with the Talon. But still, rookies, still, you know, they have to kind of just get that stage experience through. Make sure that they're going to be ready to go up against the big teams. Tarzan going forward, but he's going to take a lot of damage. Black Shield has to be used. Disintegration Ray still coming through. They haven't popped it yet. Viper jumps forward with the Killer Instinct. Looking for a pick here as Max and Ian both go low. Kidnap comes in, and that's going to be Lahens getting popped. No flash used. He'll go down, but they managed to answer one there onto Biana. ADD now arriving. Goes down the barrel, gets the chain in onto Sword as the barrage comes in from the sky. Some down low, but no further kills to be found. Just going to be the 1-for-1.
But a trade you'd take if you're Griffin. The enemy jungler is dead, and Flash is now down on Beyond. Means the next time a kidnap comes through, likely to go wide. There's so much damage on both sides that no one is baited by Tarzan walking up. He's so squishy. Then Viper goes straight in throughout this fight. Took the early Killer Instinct. Doesn't even have a speck of damage on him. It's all about Lahens going down, but they do kill Beyond on the back end. Good trade for Griffin.
Keeping things very tight-knit. 500 gold, that's it. That's what's making the difference. It's a Cloud Drake each, a turret each. We are so very close in this game at 21 and a half minutes. Honestly, might just take one of those 50-50 Barons, the classics here from the side of MVP to decide who is going to be winning this game.
Looking at Pilot's build, we should remind our viewers that on 8.6, Rageblade is still disabled. You cannot buy Rageblade. Physically, or at least with a mouse click, you can buy it, but if you do so, players have all been briefed, you have to go back to the base and sell it at a loss.
As Jhin.
Yes, as Jhin. That's what we're saying.
Yes, disabled for Jhin.
Can buy on other champions. Seen it on Viper already, but all I mentioned in the LCK final, Rageblade on Jhin particularly is disabled. I don't think it's going to lead to the rapid-fire cannon hurricane that we saw Kramer going for. That was a little bit too mad scientist for me.
Yeah, that was just Kramer things. He's known for that.
I threw in your famous reference of the wit's end when I saw that.
Yep.
But
It's just how he does it, man.
I can appreciate a man who's looking for something different.
He's got Zephyr to kind of crack the whip these days, so not nearly as many crazy things, but the Jhin in general in that final was a little rough around the edges. Turret going to be taken here in the mid lane. Griffin finding no lead, still going to be down.
Beyond's job is actually really, really hard. If you think about how Zac would work on your first sighting, you're like, man, whoever you kidnap, you're going to kill him. They're so squishy. But what really happens, as we can notice that Karma was putting out some sick damage in the last fight, but what really
Very
truly
close.
happens in this sort of a game of Kilios is you jump in, if you don't have flash, you don't have a lot of gold, you kind of just die instantly if you don't get the instant engage. So Beyond's job is actually really tricky because there's no margin for error. If you're even missing the elastic slingshot knockup, you just die to turn around damage. It's actually much trickier for Zac to engage against DPS champions than it is against those big tank line champions that we saw dominating the LCK final because of the damage.
That's why you like the Sejuani. Throw out the Glacial Prison. Did you hit somebody? Okay, go for it. If you missed, just
Non-committal, baby.
You just use your Arctic Assault. You just dash yourself away.
You say something about a
Dash your way
zoning
away.
ultimate, you apologize once, and you get back to your normal game.
Something, Smithy. All right, let's get out of here.
My son. What are you saying about my son?
No, he's an ex-Smithy, so he's not in the family anymore. He's removed.
We also had myself and Mithy with our secret handshake, the Papa Smithy duo.
There you go.
That's what I'm all about. Getting all the best pro players in the world to get behind me. Love it. And Griffin just want to get behind this person. Kaisa in the mid lane. She's going for probably the National Stud. It's probably going to be the triple evolve once again in this particular game. Not 100%, could be a Hurricane, but there's an option left open here at third item. Waiting to see what actually comes together. Game is finally poised. The gangplank has gotten going. Doesn't have a CS lead, but a gold lead will be there. We don't have the confirmation, but that's how things roll. The Lucian can team fight in this comp because of the double shielding, and Kaiser's trying to do it all alone.
Yikes!
Yeah.
Max taking quite a bit of damage from the Acathian Rain. He's going to have to go ahead and stay back a bit further there. Just support Pilot. They went for the kill lane. They got one, but that's about it. Still finely poised, as you say. Turret going to be broken open in the top side. The third Cloud Drake taken by Griffin, which means that Viper is going to have a lot of move speed that just keeps skirting around these fights.
Next one going to be inconsequential. Fourth spawn and final spawn will be the Ocean, but if Griffin pick it up, it is at least more power on the Elder. Don't think the game will still be up in the air when the Elder spawns, but it's a possibility. Only 4 kills despite all the damage. The teams have a lot of weapons, but wielding them so far has eluded both teams.
Yeah, we've cast or cursed ourselves.
We have.
Expecting some blood. We got nothing.
And the action will also be very quick. The replay will not be 25 seconds long. There'll be a lot of death instantly. ADD, sticking around, knows these, getting to the point where he doesn't really get bust by the Lucian in the 1v1. As the Sterix Gauge already can cut down the healing from the Blade of the Ruin King also, with the Executioner's calling. Pushing through mid lane. Viper picking up farm, continues to grow a lead.
Oh, looking for Max, cleanses there yet again. Has to burn the flash though,
Whoa!
and Viper's into the backside. Killer instinct, putting him right where he wants to be. Vel'Koz does not stand a chance. Now Sword arriving, uses the culling, makes Beyond quite low. Griffin are looking to open up this inner turret.
There's not going to be any time for eulogies in these team fights, Kilios. People going to be dying fast.
Tarzan just popping that shield, making sure that he's going to be fine. They take the turret and they go their separate ways.
They actually get
Slight
this
lead
trouble
opening
bubble.
up. They get a big burst of damage in onto Rather, but they can't find the final shots with the curtain call to take him down.
2 threats down, no way to make that happen. AD didn't bother to use the ult. Makes sense, they wouldn't have been able to capitalize off it. What does it mean for Baron control here for Griffin? Who get the kills, they back away though. They don't even sweep away the vision.
Yeah, there's still control wards sitting inside the pit, so don't move their way over there.
Kaiser's burst damage, obscene.
Ugh.
Seems like they will be skipping over the Nationals too. It seems like perhaps Phantom Dancer or Hurricane, I guess even Rapid Fire Cannons, all 3 situationally could be invested in the QSS, because we mentioned already that it's often Glacial Prison into Cleanse. If there's no other threats around, it's going to be an instant killer, an instant death onto Max, who is going for the same build. He went this build last time. He's going for Archangels just to have a shield. Gonna build full AP, but knows he himself can be popped very quickly.
Yeah, we just saw that damage. I don't think the shield is going to save him.
Even another half second for someone to catch up could be relevant later, but I agree with you in that he's going to die super damn fast. Was Shirelia's rush on Lahan's going to be more and more common on these AP supports, and the Karma mid lanes going for the new Shirelias.
Saw it on the Vlad mid lane from Rather as well.
Absolutely. Cannon could be considering it soon as well if we see another Cannon meta. He's going to feel good about that.
That would be excellent. Love to see Smeb bring that one out.
When we had support Cannon, they had to go Righteous Glories, so they're going to feel good about Shirelias. In the mid lane, there is going to be some movement speed.
Lock this one up. Lethal Prison comes in into the dark binding, and Max is just going to get melted. Viper yet again dashing through the Killer Instinct, takes him down. Now Pilot gonna fall.
They're all dead.
And Griffin now can just go ahead and start looking for the Baron. A double kill for the Kaisa. Griffin finally taking the lead here in this game. MVP struggling to keep up.
There's no hard crowd control. Feels like it's Katarina in the team fight. Jumps in. Everyone is dead. Just Kaisa things. The Baron also, goodbye. It's dead. Pickups here for Griffin and MVP. Gonna start losing map control with team fights like that.
Blowing this game wide open. Not the largest lead, but definitely the biggest one that we've had so far.
Gonna watch
Go ahead and take a look at this.
Gonna watch the replay here. It was actually Talisman. Didn't even know Ian could pick that one up, but apparently could. The fight continues to go on, and the moment you go in, Viper might as well have been a Katarina because she got the jump in, there's no CC left to stop her, and everyone is paper for her to rip through. Taking them out. The Jhin can never open up. Doesn't matter if he has his ultimate or not. The team fight is over. Very well executed by Griffin, and you see why Morgana and the Kaisa are best friends. Kaisa can just so easily rip through if unaccountable. And with QSS, with the Black Shield, she doesn't give a monkey's about anyone, Achilles.
Nope. Not even a single monkey in the barrel.
Catch up.
Griffin pushing forward, looking for this next turret here.
We catch up with the build from Pilot with no ability for Jhin to purchase Rage Blade on 8.6. It is going to be the very standard 3-item Power Spike. Rage Blade's often the 4th item after this, and that's why you feel bad that you can't pick it up. You ready for some damage?
Yeah, it's all the Kaisa, turns out. Max is having a bad time now if that cleanse isn't available.
Good news, I think MVP just about did more damage than just Kaisa as a team. So that's cool.
I mean, you could have looked at it. It just had the big numbers there.
I was putting them together. I was adding more kills. My math
But
brain.
it was provided to you.
Was it?
Yeah. So
The total?
So the total
Oh, I
damage.
didn't look at that.
Yeah, it was total damage.
I'm not
And
used to
then the
OGN
Kaisa
having the
stuff.
6 stats, okay?
Now,
Damn.
look, they go all out in the promotion tournament, okay?
Hey, this is the LCK summer promotion
I know.
tournament. We got cool stuff next season.
It's going to be some good times in summer. I'm looking forward to it. So very far away, though.
Yep.
That's the sad part for me, is I'm going to have to wait some time.
Not announced yet. You can look at last year and say, well, it's in a couple of months' time, sadly. Pushing through the mid lane here is Griffin. They've got that Baron buff. They don't have the world's best siege comp, but they got the world's best damage.
Got very limply, tries to smack two people together with that stretching strike. Won't really find much.
Sword pushes through bot. Really little MVP can do. Beyond walks in and dies in a half second. Bot lane though, Sword trying to bust through ADD. That's tricky, but does it matter, Achilles?
I mean, it's a lot of damage there onto him. Ian gonna get locked down. Cleanse comes through. Beyond goes deep, and Beyond goes down. Can't use the kidnap, and I don't think ADD's in much of a position to save him with the TP. Cannot do so. Just trying to stop the onslaught coming through from Griffin.
Speaking
but
of
Viper, he
onslaughts,
wants more! He's looking for blood, and he is gonna have it. 2 kills coming through. Maybe looking for a little bit more on top of that, but Ian makes it back to the fountain. Max as well, gonna be contained. That's gonna be the Nexus turrets falling, and Griffin taking game number 3. Now 1 win away from advancing into the LCK Summer Split. This team exploded into challengers this last season, crushed everybody in their way, and now they are looking to do the same with MVP.
And it is 5 players who have never played at the LCK level. Lahans may have been in a promotion tournament before, but none of them have been on an LCK squad. And together as a 5, like you say, one more Nexus explodes and they will be there. Viper, this young AD carry who was only able to play at the start of Challengers Korea Spring and for the Kesper Cup last year. Couldn't play in Challengers or LCK in the summer season. Is it the Kai'Sa? Is it Viper? I've watched enough Griffin to know it's a bit of both, Achilleos. This is what happens when Kai'Sa gets going. I mentioned it already. Sorry, Beyond. There is no exit the moment you jump in. Too much damage on the enemy team.
It's just a self-setup. He just finds the Void Seeker straight into the back, happens to hit Pilot. He's just like, okay, let's do it.
And I just want to go further. I may have a flash, but I'm ready for 2 Nexus turrets. I'm ready for that sweet LCK life. And it seems like he's just about there. Just one more win.
I honestly had faith in him healing through that disintegration pain, but he didn't want to try it. He did kite back. But maybe we would have seen the full ace there at the end. But man, MVP might have to play another best of 5 to try to re-qualify into the LCK versus Kongdu Monster.
And I'll say one thing about Griffin. When they win, when they go 1 win away from qualifying, they're not elated. They look like it's just another game. This team is ready to go. This team has their sights set, and they know they are oh so close.
Yeah, and that's already a good professional look for this squad. Not giving up, not celebrating until the very end. The victory is on the horizon here for Griffin. Things have been going quite well for them in these last 2 games. Let's see if they can close it out with a 3-1 series over MVP, or if they can make the comeback. We're going to go to a commercial break, and when we return, we'll see if Griffin has made it into the LCK.